sold out. But we're going to be here. We're going to have a great old time. So give a warm, big, big welcome for Matthew Ray Gubler and his book, Rumble, Buttercup, a story of bananas, belonging, and being.
Hello, is this thing on? Can you guys hear me? Oh my gosh, what an amazing crowd. Guys, welcome to the LA Times Festival of Books. Or as I like to call it, Coachella for librarians. Are there any librarians in the audience? Yes! Is there anybody who would rather be at Coachella right now watching the Spin Doctors? Is there anybody who remembers who the Spin Doctors are? I am Matthew Gray Gubler. I am so incredibly honored to be here with you guys today to celebrate literature and to celebrate what I truly think is the most essential of art forms, storytelling. So if you guys are all right with this, I'd like to tell you a little story about a friend of mine named Rumple Buttercup. I'm gonna take these gloves off first. It's very hard to turn pages with big green gloves. How are you guys doing up front? Oh, good. Oh, nice. Long ago and far away, in a tiny town beneath a purple-peaked pine tree, there lived a monster named Rumple Buttercup. Hi. He had 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green scaly skin, and his left foot was slightly bigger than his right foot. 11% bigger. He was weird. And so Rumple worried that if anyone ever saw him, they would be scared, run away, or throw rocks at his head. So he spent his entire life hiding underground in a rain drain, right by a garbage can in the middle of town, where nobody could ever see him, but where he could still see them, singing and dancing. Do you want to sit in these reserved? There's no one here. Come on in. So you guys, come and sit right there. No, hey, cool Rumple art. Thank you. Where no one would ever see him. I lost my place in my mind. Singing, dancing, laughing, walking dogs, and jumping around. Edit that part out. If this is a Snapchat story, cut that part out. Just cut right here seamlessly. So he spent his entire life hiding underground in a rain drain, right by the garbage can in the middle of town, where no one would ever see him, but where he could still see them, laughing and dancing, singing and joking, walking dogs and jumping rope, but most of all, not being weird. Everyone in town had more than 5 teeth, perfectly straight hair, perfectly proportioned feet, no green skin, and some of them were even cute and fluffy, like the dogs. Living underground wasn't all bad, though. Rumple made the most of it, and he had a nice little home he decorated with garbage that he found in the can outside. Have you guys ever made anything out of garbage before? Yeah. Well, hey, brother, nice to see you. Rumple made a tin can chandelier. He made a footstool made entirely out of bubble gum and beans. And he even had an old-fashioned garbage chair with roller skate wheels and rusted radio headsets. There he lived, day after day, week after week, year after year, alone. So one day, he reached in the garbage can and he took 2 lollipops, a piece of old chewed gum, 3 strands of spaghetti, some melted licorice rope, a petrified pretzel, a handful of candy corn. And you guys know what he made?
Candy corn.
That just blew my mind. I'm gonna retire tomorrow. Yes, he made candy corn Carl. Wow. You read it? What do you think? Did you like it? Good. Oh, thank you. That would have been great if she's like, we could use some tightening up. Even though Candy Corn Carl was just a bunch of old candy that Rumpel had glued to the wall, Rumpel would talk to him for hours a day. He was Rumpel's best friend in the world, and Rumpel would say things like, "What have you been up to, Carl?" But Carl never replied. "Well, hang in there, Carl. Get it? Hang in there? Because you're hung on the wall?" Candy Corn Carl would have laughed too, but he was just a bunch of candy stuck to a wall, so instead, he just stared. When Rumpel wasn't building stuff out of garbage or telling hilarious jokes to Candy Corn Carl, he would sit by the rain drain, listen to the voices above ground, and pretend that they were talking to him. With his eyes shut really tight, it was as if he was part of all of the fun happening above. He would hear things like, "Can anyone get my cat out of that tree?" "I can." "Whoa, those are some great dance moves." "Thanks." And they would all, "Hang in there," I said to him. And they would all laugh at his hilarious joke. But when Rumpel opened his eyes, he would always remember that it was all just a dream and no one was ever talking to him. Sometimes, at night, if the moon wasn't too bright and if Rumpel was feeling adventurous, he would go above ground with the help of a very simple disguise. I know you guys are filming this, but this is top secret. I shouldn't be telling you this. This is Rumpel's above ground disguise instructions. Step 1, get a banana peel out of the garbage can. Step 2, put it on head. Oh, sorry, Rumpel. Step 3, close eyes. Close his eyes. And step 4, he would slither his head up through the rain drain and sit very, very, very still, laying quietly by the garbage can. No one would ever notice him, and if anyone did see him, they would just think he was a pile of trash. Hidden under his banana peel, Rumpel almost felt like he was normal. Year after year, with his eyes shut tight, he would feel the breeze of the changing seasons. In October, he could hear the crunching leaves and almost taste the apple cider. In December, he would hum along with the passing carolers. La, 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 la. And in July, he could imagine the beautiful fireworks. But at the end of each night, he was always reminded that he was still all alone. Chapter 2. Should we stop or keep going? Oh, yes! We'll keep going. Guys, the leaves were turning green, which meant that Rumpel's favorite day of the year was fast approaching. The annual Pajama Jam Cotton Candy Pancake Parade. On the 17th Saturday of summer, everyone in town would wake up late, keep their pajamas on, and march down the center of town singing and dancing and lighting fireworks and laughing while eating giant bushels of cotton candy pancakes. Ooh, it's a great day. Now, Rumpel loved this day most of all because it was the one day of the year that he could actually go out in the daylight. With all of the noise and commotion, no one would ever notice him, as long as he had his banana peel. Ooh, I see your banana peels. You guys look great. It's a good look. Good for your hair, too.
I can help you.
Thank you so much. I know. I should have thought of that.
After a whole year of waiting, the day was almost here. Rumpel was so freaking excited the night before he could hardly sleep. He woke up early, he brushed his 5 crooked teeth, he combed his 3 wispy hairs, and he slowly reached his green hand out to get this year's banana peel. But the garbage can was empty. Exactly. Nothing but gum stains and old beans. He was so sad. There was no banana peel. So Rumpel lowered his head and he cried. And he cried. And he cried some more. Join me in crying. Make sure you tell everyone that you came to the LA Times Festival of Books and Matthew Gray Goober made you all cry. And that is when he heard it. Chapter 3. Should we do this last chapter? Call it a day? Hit it hard tomorrow? Oh, we'll finish it. We'll finish it. I need a volunteer from the audience, though. Who loves to read? Who loves to read? You know you. You want to join me on stage? Introduce yourself to the audience, Hannah.
Hello, I am Hannah, and today I am dressed up as my YouTube OC, so please check out my YouTube channel.
Nice organic pick. I like that. That was amazing. A little shout out. I have a YouTube channel too, guys. I'm joking, I don't. So chapter 3, Rumpel is crying. That was amazing. Well, are you hot? It's so hot, right?
There's so much support for you guys. I'm so happy.
Oh, you just made this girl's day. Oh, thank you. That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Incredible. You're great. They love you. Look. It's all cool. She's also... Woo, Hannah! She's also clearly method. She read about Rumpel and now she's in character. This is great. This is amazing. Are you ready? Let me know whenever you're ready. There's no rush either. You ready? Okay. So chapter 3 begins with a voice that Rumpel hears off screen, and it sounds a little bit like this.
Aren't you going to watch the parade this year?
Rumpel couldn't believe it. Was Candy Corn Carl finally talking after all these years? He whipped his head around in amazement. But Carl was silent. And then he heard the same voice again, a little bit louder this time.
Can you hear me down there, mister?
The voice wasn't coming from Candy Corn Carl. It was coming from the rain drain. Someone above ground was talking to him.
Sorry to bother you, but we were just wondering if you were going to watch the parade this year.
Thank you so much. Rumpel Sheepish. I haven't read it yet. I heard it's a good book. Rumpel Sheepish. The sweat in my eyes is really what's happening. But it's a good look. It's hot out here, and I'm wearing a wool suit. Rumpel sheepishly replied, "Well, what do you mean?"
We couldn't help but notice that you weren't in your unusual spot, so I just thought I would check to make sure you were okay.
Give her an applause. You're a great leader, by the way. You're a great leader. You can see me?
Of course, we can see you. You're kind of hard to miss.
Rumpel was amazed. But aren't you scared of me? And then a different voice replied, "Why would we be scared of you?" "Because I have 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green scaly skin, and my left foot is slightly bigger than my right foot. I'm weird,"
Well, look at me,
replied the boy.
replied the boy. I have really big cheeks, metal on my teeth, and my entire body is covered in freckles.
"And look at me. I have really thick glasses, a super pointy nose, and I can't pronounce the letter all. All of a sudden, Rumple didn't feel so alone. He moved closer to the rain drain, got up on his tiptoes, looked out, and you guys know what he saw? He saw the entire city looking down, saying things like, "My hair's too curly. My hair's too straight. I'm allergic to dogs. I'm taller than my big brother. I'm shorter than my little sister. I only have one eyebrow. My toes look like tiny carrots. I can't grow a mustache. Peanuts make my face turn red. I sing like a frog. I look like a frog. And people are allergic to me. Woof, woof." And that is when Rumple realized that everyone is weird. And that is what makes us great. Pulling Rumple above ground, the boy remarked,
You know, there is one thing about you we always thought was strange.
"Oh no," thought Rumple. "What?"
Why do you always wear a banana peel on your head?
And Rumple just smiled. All this time they could see him after all, and nobody cared that he had 5 crooked teeth, 3 strands of hair, green scaly skin, or even a banana peel on his head. And the town was so happy that Rumple decided to join them above ground that they insisted he lead them the entire parade from on top of the highest float. High up on that float, way higher than he had ever been before, Rumple could feel the wind in his 3 strands of hair. He could taste the cotton candy pancakes with his 5 crooked teeth, and he could finally feel the warm, welcoming sun beating down on his green, scaly skin. But the warmest feeling of all he felt on the inside, knowing he was surrounded by all his new friends, who all wore banana peels on their heads in honor of their newest friend, Rumple Buttercup.
The end.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. You were incredible. Thank you. Do you want to keep this book? Have this book. That's yours. Guys, thank you so much. What a super honor to get to read this to you guys out loud. Thank you for coming. I made this entire book with a handful of pastel pencils. Oh, thank you. Oh, I can't wait to read this. Should I read it on stage?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll read it on stage. Dear Matthew, why are you so sweaty? It's almost like you have never had a drink of water in your life. And it is, no, she didn't say that at all. Oh, dear Matthew, you're the best. Oh, this didn't make me cry. I was crying after I met you. You look like my dad, but nicer. Is your dad here? Where's your dad? I want a competition. Where's your dad? Is your dad here? Okay, he's in Missouri. Okay, that's amazing, by the way. But nicer, yes. My dad. What? Oh, I'm sorry. This is so sad. I hope your acting is good in the show Criminal Minds. Love your pal, Hannah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.